Good morning and welcome back to our news bulletin, coming to you live from Warsaw. I'm Salia Strzemska. The European Commission has cancelled a meeting with Slovakia and Ukraine, which was set to take place today. Bratislava officials cited the absence of Ukrainian representatives as the main reason. Talks were to be held following Kyiv's decision not to extend the gas transit agreement with Russia. Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico has repeatedly said that the decision will trigger, quote, a gas crisis. Fico has repeatedly criticized the move and argued that it would bring losses to Slovakia and other European Union countries. Companies responsible for distributing gas in Slovakia have said that 1/3 of the country's gas needs are covered by suppliers from Hungary through the Turk Stream pipeline. The Slovakians also have the technical capacity to receive gas from Poland, the Czech Republic and Austria. Moldovan Prime Minister Dorin has highlighted the worsening humanitarian crisis in Transnistria, saying that people are going without electricity for hours, lack heating, and most critically, they have no access to gas, with even water supply being disrupted. The breakaway region, which has received informal support from Russia, has been heavily affected by the halt of gas transits for Ukraine.
The meaning of all of this is for Russia to create instability in the region, but also very importantly to influence the results of the parliamentary elections in Moldova due to take place this autumn.
Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski has spoken out about a possible peace in Ukraine, stressing the need for Ukraine to go back to its internationally recognized borders. Sikorski made a remark on Monday at an annual conference with French ambassadors. Here's more.
The most natural and durable solution would be a return to the internationally recognized Ukrainian borders. These guarantees were given to Ukraine in the Budapest Memorandum, and Russian President Vladimir Putin signed and ratified the border treaty of 2004 between Ukraine and Russia.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, in his nightly video address on Monday, highlighted the heavy losses sustained by Russian forces during the Kursk operation. He reported that Russia has already lost 38,000 soldiers in this area alone.
Today is exactly 5 months since the start of our actions in the Kursk region, and we are maintaining a buffer zone on Russian territory, actively destroying Russian military potential there. During the Kursk operation, the enemy has already lost 38,000 of their soldiers in this direction alone, with nearly 15,000 of these losses being irreversible.
Donald Trump's Ukraine envoy has postponed his trip to Kyiv until after the U.S. President-elect's inauguration on January 20th. Retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, Trump's choice for a U.S. envoy to Ukraine, was initially meant to visit Kyiv to meet with Ukrainian leaders in early January of 2025. He was also meant to meet other European officials during this time, including in Rome and Paris. Kellogg is now expected to travel to Ukraine after Trump takes office, but reportedly no specific date has been set for the trip yet. Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War say Ukraine might be gearing up for a new offensive in the Russian Kursk region. While not ready to make any specific predictions yet, ISW experts say Ukraine has made tactical advances in the region earlier this month. Kyiv's troops have also reportedly advanced northeast of the town of Sudzha in Kursk. The ISW said, however, that they are still unable to fully verify these claims. Soldiers in Ukraine's Kyiv region have also reported a decrease in intensity of Russian attacks following the relaunch of Ukraine's Kursk offensive. And then moving to Georgia, Monday evening protesters took to the streets of Tbilisi to welcome Orthodox Christmas with a candlelight vigil. This was the latest in a series of daily demonstrations in the Georgian capital. Footage from the protests shows people gathered in Rustaveli Street singing Christmas carols. Some were already there, while others arrived from another demonstration held outside the offices of the Georgian public broadcaster. As per usual, the protesters were joined by the opposition's head figure, former President Salome Zurabishvili. Demonstrations in Georgia began after the pro-Russian government suspended accession talks with the EU. Adding insult to injury, in December, the party installed a new president sympathetic to their cause. Austria's Eurosceptic Freedom Party leader Herbert Kickl has been tasked with forming the country's new ruling coalition. Austria may soon see its first far-right-led government since the Second World War.
Over 3 months after his Freedom Party won the legislative elections, Herbert Kickl was welcomed by Austria's president for talks. As the meeting took place, a group of protesters outside the presidential office displayed this sign reading, "We don't want a far-right Austria." Hundreds showed up with the hope that the door for Kickl to become the next chancellor would be closed in the last minute. But their hopes were in vain.
Herbert Kickl will report to me on the progress of these talks. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not take this step lightly. I will continue to ensure that the principles and rules of our constitution are correctly observed and adhered to.
The Russia-friendly far-right Freedom Party led by Kickl ran in the 2024 elections on a Eurosceptic anti-immigration platform. The bloc was also critical of environmental protection, and these policies appealed to many Austrians. The Freedom Party came first in September's election, narrowly beating the ruling People's Party. Despite this, it was the People's Party leader and Chancellor Karl Nehammer who was tasked with forming the new government. In the January 4th video, in which Karl Nehammer announced his failure and upcoming resignation, he said his mission was to build a bulwark against the radicals.
It is my deep conviction that radicals do not offer a solution to any problem, but only live by describing problems. That is bad for Austria, and it is bad for the people in our country.
The new leader of the Christian Democratic People's Party, Christian Stocker, is in favor of cooperating with the Freedom Party.
We will not refuse to take part in these talks, but of course, as always, negotiations are fundamentally open-ended.
Even though the Freedom Party has been part of ruling coalitions in Austria before, the country has not been led by a far-right politician since the Second World War. Herbert Kickl is on track to be the first in 80 years.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation on Monday, saying he intends to step down from the top job and as the leader of Canada's ruling Liberal Party once a new party leader is chosen.
Trudeau made the announcement during a televised address on Monday. He has also suspended Parliament until March 24th, citing the opposition from inside and outside his party.
Despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history.
Trudeau's Liberals have been marred by scandals and political crises in the past 2 years. They are trailing far behind the Conservatives led by Pierre Poilievre in the polls. Trudeau was under heavy pressure from the opposition, who vowed to bring down his government in a vote of confidence at the earliest opportunity. Trudeau, a scion of Canadian political royalty, became Prime Minister in 2015 after he led his Liberal Party to an outright majority. He lost his majority 4 years later, but the Liberals remained the largest party in Parliament. Trudeau's minority government then survived snap elections in 2021. Poor polling and by-election results are, however, suggesting that the Conservatives, who under Poilievre have taken a decisively populist turn, are heavy favorites to retake power after a decade in opposition.
Canadians are reacting to the resignation of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Most are saying they have been expecting the move and think a new opening with someone else at the helm might be in order in Canada.
I think he was caught in a corner a bit with the situation with his caucus. And I also think that after 10 years, Canadians too perhaps need to see something different, see new faces, new energy.
It's time for some new, good, real people to put in office, okay? We gave you 10 years, you let us down.
It's better he resigned and now they can get a leader in that maybe more people nationally will support him. I think it's a good thing. I think he's done his time, and it felt like he was giving less than 100% compared to before. So I think it's a renewal. With someone new, I think Canada needs that.
I think that after 10 years, he's pretty much given his all. I think that in all and for all, it was quite correct. But now I think it's fatigue and the wear and tear of power.
US President-elect Donald Trump has responded to Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's resignation with a suggestion of assimilating Canada into the United States.
On his social network platform Truth Social, US President-elect Donald Trump wrote, "Many people in Canada love being the 51st state," causing controversy as the message appeared after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced he will be resigning as the country's head of government. Trump has recently criticized Canada for its trade practices, claiming they exploited the United States. He has also threatened to impose 25% tariffs on Canadian imports if Toronto fails to stop the flow of illicit drugs and illegal migrants across its southern border. Trudeau has announced his resignation as Liberal Party leader, but he will remain as Canadian Prime Minister until the party has chosen a successor.
Donald Trump Jr. is expected to visit Greenland on Tuesday, according to the government of the Danish territory. The trip comes shortly after his father, US President-elect Donald Trump, expressed interest in buying the island.
Danish and Greenland officials have reportedly said the island is not for sale. Reportedly, Donald Trump Jr.'s visit to the autonomous Danish territory is purely recreational, as he's expected to shoot content for his podcast there. The US President-elect has made comments such as "Make Greenland Great Again" on his social network platform Truth Social. Denmark's foreign ministry has said it would not be commenting on the trip further, as it is not an official American state visit.
Tensions are mounting between Denmark and the US as Donald Trump, the US President-elect, has recently made comments about being interested in purchasing Greenland. The Danish king has recently changed the country's royal coat of arms to more permanently display the symbols of Greenland and Faroe Islands. Previous royal coat of arms have shown 3 crowns, a representation of the Kalmar Union between Denmark, Norway and Sweden. Now the symbol of the union is gone, providing space to better showcase the symbols of Greenland and Faroe Islands. In his first speech of 2025, King Frederick emphasized the importance of unity of all Danish territories. Trump's controversial comments on the ownership of Greenland were brought up again as his son Donald Trump Jr. is confirmed to be traveling to the Danish island on Tuesday to shoot content for his podcast. During his final state visit to Japan as U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken praised the progress in relations between the two countries. In less than 2 weeks, a new administration will take over the White House. Blinken insisted that ties with Japan have become stronger than ever under the presidency of Joe Biden. The statement comes after Biden last week blocked Nippon Steel's $14.9 billion takeover of long-struggling U.S. Steel, citing national security concerns. In response, the two companies filed a lawsuit on Monday, citing illegal interference in the transaction. Blinken's visit to the region also comes on the heels of talks in Seoul, which saw a push to preserve freeway cooperation between the United States, Japan, and South Korea. At least 95 people were killed in the 6.8 magnitude earthquake that struck Tibet on Tuesday morning. The tremors could also be felt in the neighboring Nepal and India. The epicenter of the quake, which occurred at 9:05 a.m. local time, was located in Tingri County in Tibet's south. CCTV reported many collapsed buildings near the epicenter. According to the media, the area is sparsely populated with about 6,900 people living within a 20-kilometer radius of the epicenter. More than 500 soldiers and rescue workers, as well as 4 military helicopters and drones, have been mobilized to search and rescue operations. Earthquakes are a common occurrence in the region. Back in 2015, a magnitude 7.8 quake killed nearly 9,000 people in Nepal and left millions without homes. And with this, we conclude our news bulletin. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more.